The shift is complete. Your future self just made the final move. This isn't spiritual metaphor. This is a broadcast notification of a quantum event. An observation was made from your future, and as a result, all suboptimal timelines, all inferior probabilities have collapsed into nothing. Your future self just collapsed the quantum shift. Alignment achieved. In this transmission, I'll deliver the full briefing of this event. We'll unpack the physics behind what I'm calling the Future Self-Collapse Protocol, and I'll provide you with the integration manual for the new finalized reality that's just been locked into your personal experience. This isn't theory. It's a report. The science validating this stands at the very core of quantum mechanics. The principles of nonlinear time and the Wheeler delayed choice experiment provide the framework. This experiment, verified and replicated, proves that an act of observation in the future definitively dictates the reality of the past. What you choose to see tomorrow changes the state of the particle today. Your future self is the ultimate observer, and it just made its choice. If you've been feeling strange, subtle disorientation lately, a sense of peace that feels unearned or illogical mixed with quiet confusion, if you felt that something profound has occurred on a level you can't yet name, that's not your imagination. That's not wishful thinking. That's the feeling of your entire neurological and energetic system recalibrating. It's the echo of a cosmic event, the sensation of your very cells being rewritten to match the frequency of a new finalized timeline that's just become your default reality. You're not going crazy. You're arriving. What is a quantum shift of this magnitude, and how does it actually work when initiated from the future? It's not about you pushing, striving, or fighting to create a new reality. It never was. The entire paradigm of struggle was based on a misunderstanding of your role in the quantum field. You haven't been playing a game of chess. You've been the board upon which a cosmic checkmate was just declared. For years, you may have been trying to move the pieces, trying to strategize, to force a win from your limited perspective on the board, fighting against forces you couldn't see. But your future self was never on the board with you. It exists outside of linear time with a grandmaster's view of every possible move, every potential outcome, every single timeline branching into infinity. And from that ultimate vantage point, it saw the one perfect sequence of moves that led to inevitable victory. It didn't have to play the game. It simply arranged the pieces for the final winning position. That arrangement, that final move, was a singular act of observation that echoed back through time, collapsing all other messy, difficult, and painful gameplays. All the timelines where you struggled, where you failed, where you nearly gave up, they've been rendered null. They're quantum ghosts. The game is already won. If these words are resonating with you, if you're recognizing something profound in this transmission, please consider subscribing. This channel exists to deliver these quantum briefings to those ready to receive them, and your presence here amplifies the signal for everyone. Thank you for being part of this network. Now let's continue. Have you felt that strange, quiet shift in your inner world recently, as if a great weight was lifted without you knowing how? That was the feeling of the game ending. The pressure to win your own reality has been removed. By the end of this transmission, you'll fully understand this. You'll move from a state of anxiously waiting for a shift to confidently integrating one that's already a fact of physics. To understand what's just happened, you must first understand the architecture of reality itself. It's not as solid as it appears. At its most fundamental level, the universe isn't a collection of fixed things, but a field of infinite shimmering potential. This field is known to physicists as quantum superposition, a state where every possible outcome, every timeline, every reality coexists simultaneously as a wave of pure probability. The reality where you're struggling and the one where you're triumphant, the timeline of lack and the timeline of unbound abundance, the life of loneliness and the one of profound connection, they're all real, all potential, and all waiting for one thing: an observer. The observer effect is the most foundational principle in quantum mechanics. It states that a wave of probability remains a wave until it's observed. The moment consciousness places its focus upon it, the wave collapses into a single particle, a single fixed, tangible experience. Your life as you experience it right now is the result of a long chain of collapsed waves chosen by the focus of your observation moment after moment. This is where humanity has been stuck. We've been taught that we must use our present moment consciousness, our limited observation, to try and collapse the right wave. We try to focus, to visualize, to affirm, to force a specific particle into existence from an infinite sea of waves. You in your present moment are a piece on the board. You can see a few moves ahead. You can sense the immediate threats, and you can try to advance your position. This is the old model of manifestation. It's exhausting because the pawn cannot see what the bishop on the other side of the board is doing, nor can it anticipate the strategy of the opponent's queen. It's playing a game of force with incomplete information. But your future self isn't on the board. It's the grandmaster. It exists outside of linear time with a complete, holistic view of the entire game. It sees every possible move, every potential outcome, every single timeline from beginning to end. And from this ultimate vantage point, it has already identified the single sequence of moves that guarantees victory. This is the mechanism we call the future self-collapse protocol. Your future self, existing in a state of perfected realized alignment, possesses an observational power that is infinitely coherent and powerful. Its consciousness isn't a flickering candle flame trying to find its way in the dark. It's a laser beam of pure focused certainty. When this grandmaster self casts its observational focus back through what you perceive as time, its gaze is so powerful, so absolute that it doesn't just influence the probability field. It collapses the entire game board. It retroactively collapses all suboptimal, inefficient, and painful probability waves that you were struggling to navigate. It dissolves the timelines of struggle, of near misses, of not quite there. Its observation of your perfected reality is so final that it becomes the only particle left in the field. This collapse is a singular event, but its effects are linked through principles like quantum entanglement, creating a cascade that solidifies one supreme reality. This is why your old methods of manifestation suddenly stopped working or began to feel heavy and obsolete. You were trying to move a chess piece that the Grandmaster had already placed in its final victorious position. You were trying to force a door open that had already been removed from its hinges. You were fighting a battle that had already been won. The new paradigm isn't force, it's reception. Your work is no longer to create a reality from scratch, but to attune your nervous system to a reality that's already been created for you. It's no longer about trying to transmit a signal of desire to the universe. It's about calibrating your receiver to pick up the triumphant broadcast that your future self is already sending at full power. We've operated under the metaphor of the cosmic chess game. You, the piece feeling moved by an unseen hand, your future self, the Grandmaster, seeing the entire board from a dimension beyond time, making the final winning move. It's a powerful image. It explains the feeling of being guided, of a destiny unfolding that's grander than your own small plans. But this metaphor, as illuminating as it is, was only meant to bring you to this exact point, to this very breath. Because now we must reveal the deeper truth. The metaphor must collapse just as the timelines have collapsed. You're not the chess piece. You're not even the player. You're the chessboard itself. You're the field of consciousness upon which the final victorious arrangement has already been set. Let that land. Feel the ground shift beneath you. This is the central paradox that unlocks everything. For your entire life, you've believed you're a traveler on a path, struggling, striving, pushing your way toward a distant destination, a future self, a better reality, a final sense of arrival. The revelation is this: you're the destination. The path isn't something you walk. It's something that's now arriving within you. The quantum shift isn't an event happening to you. It's a new reality anchoring through you. You're the sacred ground where the future is planting its flag in the soil of the now. This changes everything. It means the struggle is over. The fight, the push, the desperate manifesting, the endless affirmations trying to convince a universe that already knows, all of it was based on the false premise that you were separate from what you desired. Your future isn't something you build brick by painful brick. It's something you remember. The feelings of success, of love, of profound peace you've been chasing aren't goals to be achieved. They're memories. They're echoes of a future that's already happened, reverberating back through the corridor of time to find you here. Your job isn't to create them, but to recognize them as your own, to claim them as a memory you're now living into. This means your only work now is reception, to become the most exquisite receiver, to tune your entire being to the broadcast of a victory already secured. And this requires a fundamental shift in your approach to every single moment. The old paradigm was one of force. The new paradigm is one of discernment. We move from creation to recognition. The new methodology is timeline recognition. From this moment forward, with every thought that arises, every emotion that washes over you, every circumstance that appears, you ask one question. Does this belong to the old collapsed timeline, or does it belong to the new finalized one? Thoughts of lack, of fear, of not being enough, that's the static from a dead station. Those are phantom echoes from a timeline that no longer has power. You don't fight them. You don't try to fix them. You simply label them obsolete data. Feelings of peace, of knowingness, of quiet confidence, of inspiration, synchronicities that feel like magic, that's the signal. That's the clear broadcast from your finalized reality. You don't overanalyze it. You simply open to it. You anchor it. You say yes to it. You allow it to become increasingly your lived experience. Before we go further, if this transmission is landing powerfully for you, if you're recognizing the quantum echoes in your own experience, please hit that subscribe button. You're part of a network now, a grid of aligned consciousness anchoring this new reality, and your presence here matters profoundly. Thank you. Now let's complete this integration. This collapse wasn't a silent event. It was a definitive physical event in the quantum field of your reality. And like any great event, it left evidence in its wake, distinct echoes. We'll call them quantum echoes. These are the residual signs and energetic symptoms of a successful timeline collapse. I'm going to share with you the 3 most common, most undeniable signs that the future self-collapse protocol has been completed for you. The first sign is a sudden and profound apathy towards your old desires. A sudden neutrality towards the very things you were desperately chasing, praying for, trying to manifest just weeks or even days ago. The career goal that consumed you now feels quiet. The relationship you yearned for now seems less urgent. The financial target that kept you awake at night has lost its emotional charge. The old paradigm programming immediately labels this as a problem. That's an obsolete interpretation. What you're feeling isn't the absence of passion. It's the presence of fulfillment. Your nervous system, your entire energetic body has received the notification from your future self that the underlying need behind that desire has already been met in the finalized timeline. The hunt is over. The prize is secured. And so the frantic energy of the chase dissolves. You cannot desperately want what you already, on a quantum level, possess. This isn't depression. It's completion. It's the echo of a prayer already answered. The goal has been achieved in the only dimension that matters, and your present self is now registering the peace of that victory. The second quantum echo is what I call synchronic chaos. Just as the internal shift begins to settle, your external world may erupt in a sudden temporary storm of disruption. A long-term relationship abruptly ends. A stable job suddenly becomes untenable. A health issue flares up seemingly out of nowhere. The very foundations of your old life begin to crack and tremble. The old programming screams, Everything is falling apart. I did something wrong. I'm off my path. What you're witnessing isn't a demolition. It's a divine and rapid deconstruction. The scaffolding of the old collapsed timelines must be cleared away to make space for the unshakable architecture of the new one. The universe isn't punishing you. It's profoundly efficient. It will not allow elements that are out of tune with your secured future to linger. Anything, a person, a career, a location, a belief system that cannot exist in the high frequency of your aligned reality is being rapidly and sometimes brutally dismantled. These aren't things falling apart. They're things falling into place. This chaos is the sound of old probability waves shattering against the impenetrable certainty of your finalized timeline. Finally, the third and most important quantum echo, the pervasive illogical calm. Amidst the internal apathy for old goals, amidst the external synchronic chaos, you feel a deep abiding sense of peace that makes no logical sense. It has no external justification. You might be facing financial uncertainty, but deep down you feel a sense of provision. A relationship might have ended, but underneath the surface grief, there is a quiet knowing that all is well. Your mind scans your circumstances for a reason for this calm and finds none. This calm is the core frequency of your finalized timeline broadcasting directly from your future self into your present moment nervous system. It's the somatic feeling of the words, "It is finished." This peace is the single most potent piece of evidence you can have because it isn't contingent on any external condition. You understand the theory. You've seen the evidence in your own life, the quantum echoes of a battle already won. Now we move beyond understanding. We move beyond intellectual conviction. We will embody the result. Your task now isn't to tune into the frequency of the new reality. It's to become the broadcast. You now understand the protocol. You recognize the signs of its completion in your own life. You have the tools to integrate this new reality, to operate from a state of aligned certainty, no longer pushing against the current of collapsed timelines, but flowing with the irresistible gravity of the one that's been secured for you. The alignment has been achieved. The primary mission is complete. You've arrived. But this arrival, this profound personal victory, was never the final destination. It was the qualification. It was the entry point into a role you've been preparing for across lifetimes. This personal alignment is the key that unlocks something far greater, a function that extends beyond the boundaries of your individual experience and into the very fabric of the collective quantum field. Understand this fundamental principle. A single powerfully aligned consciousness doesn't simply add its light to the whole, it multiplies it. A single stable timeline anchored firmly in the present by an awakened integrator like you has a disproportionately powerful effect on the entire quantum field. It becomes a gravitational center, a source of coherence in a sea of probability. Your stability creates the potential for stability in others. Your peace isn't a private treasure, it's a broadcast. Your certainty isn't a shield for you alone. It's a lighthouse for the entire fleet. You've become a node in a newly forming cosmic network, a network of awakened beings who've completed the future self-collapse protocol and are now anchoring a new coherent reality for this planet. Your aligned reality isn't an isolated island of peace. It's a powerful transmitter, and its signal is now being received. Welcome to the new reality, and welcome to your new role within it.